Hello and welcome to the Car Care Nut channel. In today's video, we're going to do a review of the new 2021 Toyota Venza Hybrid. But before we get started, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Consider checking out some of my other videos, subscribing to the channel. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for watching another one of my videos. And without further ado, let's dig right into it. Before I start the review, I'd like to say one thing. I'm not a car journalist. I am actually a Toyota Master Diagnostic Technician. I work at a dealership. So this review is not going to be your conventional car journalist review, if you would. I'm just going to do this a little bit differently. Just thought I'd give you a heads up. So let's start with the first item. So under the hood of the 2021 Toyota Venza Hybrid is a 2.5 liter engine mated to the hybrid system, making 219 horsepower. Hey man, I thought you said this was a different review. You sound just like a car journalist, doesn't he? Let's try this one more time. This is the A25A newest Toyota 4-cylinder engine mated to the awesome latest generation hybrid system. Now, if you want the details of this engine in detail, I have a series on this engine with all its new technologies and everything. However, I want to say one thing about the hybrid system and actually the whole hybrid system, including the engine in this car. It is identical to the RAV4 2019 and up. There is not really much have changed, and this car, along with the RAV4, they are very similar behind the scenes. They look different on the outside, different size. They could be mistaken for a completely different car, but underneath, behind the scenes, they're exactly the same, and they have the exact same components. Now, this engine, I estimate that this engine will be very good. It's a little bit technological, it's too advanced, and people have voiced concerns over reliability. However, this engine is not new to this car. It's been out since 2018. We haven't really had a lot of issues with it. Most of the issues were small and covered under warranty. There's not a lot going on with this engine, so I anticipate its life to be good with good maintenance. One thing about this engine is 0W16 oil. You're going to want to stick to that, because these engines don't like different oil, at least in the United States. The hybrid system is the latest generation hybrid system. This generation hybrid system started in 2016 with the Prius, with the 4th generation Prius. I've talked about this in a previous video. If you want to see the latest technology of hybrid systems, always look at the newest generation Prius, because it starts at the Prius and then it goes everywhere else. It's always been like that. So this hybrid generation came out in 2016. It's not new to this car, or you know, you're afraid of buying the first year, it's the first model. This system has been around for a few years, so we really have no issues with them. As far as power levels, the combined horsepower figure is just over 200 horsepower, which is essentially the same as, actually more than a non-hybrid RAV4. This is a little bit bigger, so it's adequate power level. But the gas mileage really is what you want to buy one of these cars for, and reliability, of course. This system is very reliable, looks very complicated and intimidating, but it's actually not. It's very, very well made package, and I have no doubts that this thing will be very reliable down the road. Let me take you on a quick tour about what's underneath the hood. You have two cooling systems. One is for the hybrid system right here, and another small bottle next to it for the engine coolant. The radiator cap is right here. This one is the same as this one. You fill it up here. That's just the radiator cap. Here's the washer. I love how they place the washer fluid right next to the coolant, so it's easily confused, but pay attention when you're putting washer fluid. Over here, we got the air filter housing right here. It's very simple air filter. Takes 2 seconds to replace. Here's your air filter. Very easy maintenance on these cars. Some computers here. Here's your brake fluid. This is the brain of the hybrid system. This is the inverter assembly. This is where all the magic for the hybrid system happens. This is the hybrid battery on this 2021 Venza. It is located underneath the back seat. Great place, I think. It's also a lithium-ion battery. It's not a nickel metal hydride. It's not offered with that. This battery is very small, very compact, sits right here. Actually doesn't intrude in the back space of the car. It's not sitting in the back where it takes some of the storage space. So I just wanted you guys to see it. Also, the hybrid fan filter is on the other side of the seat, on the passenger side. Here's a link to a video to show you how to service that filter. Again, that is the most important maintenance on this hybrid battery. In the back of the Venza is a spare tire. It's a space saver. It's actually an aluminum wheel. And also on the back is a 12-volt battery, as you can see here. To jumpstart this Venza, there is terminals in the front under the hood. You just remove the fuse lock cover. Here's the positive terminal. And you connect your negative terminal right here on this stud with the nut of this strut. Let's talk about some of the cool features that I like about this Venza. I've been driving this Venza for a week or so. They integrated a new feature that automatically shuts off the car in case, let's say, you drove into your garage, you turned it off, or you forgot to turn it off and the engine was off because it's a hybrid. It'll automatically shut off the car after an hour, and it'll actually display a message on the screen to remind you. Another cool feature is, and this is available in other Toyota models, but I thought it was especially cool in this car, the back door, the hatch door, the power back door is adjustable in height. So if you're shorter like me, you don't have to reach very high to press the buttons. You can actually make the door open lower. But one thing I'll tell you about that, if you buy a used one, or probably they're just coming out, but down the road, if you buy a used one, someone adjusted it low, you can actually go on the screen and adjust the height. Another cool thing with the back door is there's two buttons on the back door. One of them is just to close the door, and one of them is to close the door and lock all the car doors. So let's say you picked up something from the back and you walked away, you just push that, it'll close the door and lock the car, and you could just walk away. You don't have to worry about locking the door. I think that's a very convenient feature, and it's a nice one. Another cool feature, if you buy one equipped with it, is the remote start. The car has a built-in remote start. You just press the lock button once, twice, and the third time you press and hold it and the car will start right up. Also, if it's equipped with remote connect services, you can actually remote start your car from your phone, which is a very convenient feature. You don't have to go in and have an aftermarket one installed and the problems start. It's already equipped with one. On the models that are equipped with it. Also, the gas pedal design, it comes from the bottom up, not from the top down. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but the gas pedal is mounted to the floor, not coming from the top. So there's no chance of getting floor mats, of getting stuff stuck underneath it, and that starts some trouble that we've dealt with in the past. So that's a really cool design. Not a first for this car, but I thought it was something really nice to have in this car. Another cool feature that I like that gives this car more of a luxury feel is the power adjustable steering column. It's a very nice feature. Yes, people will say it's one more electronic thing that'll break, but knowing Toyota and their past cars with this, they don't break very often. And they're actually a very nice feature that'll last the life of the car. One more feature about this car is it has a rear seat reminder. If you have seat belt buckles that got buckled in the back, it'll pick up rear passengers, and then you can set this feature on and it'll remind you when you shut off the car to check the back seat. Another thing is, all the interior lights are all LED lights, so it gives it that cool white look, and it looks very modern. It's actually nice. Most people do this as an upgrade to the older cars that didn't have it. This one already comes with LEDs, so I thought that was a pretty nice feature. Now let's talk about some of the things that I didn't like about this car. First one being, and the most annoying, is the start button position. Now the start button is right here, and it's really not, you're used to the start button being like right next to the steering wheel, and I find myself always trying to go there, and then the traction control button is there, and then I remember, and then you gotta go back and go here. Not the biggest problem in the world, but it gets annoying until you get used to it. Another annoying thing with this car is driving on the highway. Now, folks, this car drives great. It's very composed, very stable. It rides on Toyota's new platform, which is TNGA, so it handles pretty good for what it is. It's pretty confidence inspiring on the highway, driving at normal speeds, normal speed limits. It feels very stable, but the road and wind noise is pretty loud, very similar to the RAV4 2019 and up. If that's something that really bothers you, it's going to be a problem, because this one is a little on the loud side, with both wind noise and road noise. And compared to the Venza before it, which has nothing to do with this car, not on any level, not size, not engine choices, not anything, that one was very quiet and refined. This one is a little bit on the louder side, but again, it's a great car for what it is. But if that's something that bothers you, perhaps this is not the car for you. Well, if you're planning to buy this car, or you already own it, or this is a car you're looking into buying in the future, I think it's a very good car. Overall, it has very nice features. It's very well made. I anticipate it being a reliable car, being made by Toyota, and has a tried and true Toyota hybrid system. There's not much new about this car actually behind the scenes. The hybrid system is shared with other models that came before this one. The battery also came out in other models. The platform which this car rides on has been out for a few years. Most of the technology here is all carried over from other models. The only thing that is a first is the Stargaze, whatever sunroof thing. You push a button and it turns white. Very cool feature, but that's new. And Toyota, when they do new stuff like that, they typically have no problems with them. But of course, these cars have a warranty for a reason. If there's going to be a problem, it's going to be from day one, and then it gets fixed and life is good. So driving this car every day, look, I don't like when car journalists take a car like this and say it doesn't handle great, it's very floaty, and I don't like the way it drives, and the soft touch materials, and this and that. Folks, this is a very nice car, even if in its most basic grade level. It's a very refined car. It's very well made. I like it. I think it drives very well. A little bit on the noisy side, as I said, but again, if you want something quieter, go to a Lexus, where things start getting really up there in price. Driving wise, it have adequate power. I didn't feel like in a situation where it's really underpowered. The hybrid system does a pretty good job in providing enough power for daily driving. I am heavy footed, and trust me, when I say a car is underpowered, it's going to show pretty quick. But this one, I was very impressed by its driving habits. It was very refined. It was very comfortable. I really liked it, and I think if you're looking for a sensible car that is nice, that has good features, that is well made, this would be a great buy. I hope this video was helpful and informative. I hope you learned something new. I hope I stayed true to my different review promise at the beginning of the video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're not a subscriber. May the Lord bless you and keep you, and you have a wonderful day.